All right, so welcome to the final part of the design a greeting card for freeCodeCamp. We're going on the last few steps that we have left. And if you're new to this channel, my name is Rob. I am a coding instructor and I am with freeCodeCamp. And I am coming at this from an instructor's point of view. So I'm not just going to give you the answers, but we are going to go through a few things. We'll have some talking topics about it. And I'm actually going through this lab for my very first time as well. So we're going to go through each step and get you through it. And something that you can do here for us is on this YouTube video, please make sure that you like it. It really does help that YouTube algorithm. And if this did help you, make sure you leave a comment. We love meeting all of you future developers out there, and we get to know you as you're watching these video series. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get started with number 21. All right, so step number 21, it says, let's go ahead and add the transition property to the card links and the anchor tag. So we already have that on our screen here. And it said, let's go ahead and give it the value of this. So again, this one's just a little bit of copy and paste. And remember, when we're utilizing the transition property, that we can put multiple things in here utilizing the comma separation, right? So if we wanted to do something else with the transition, we could. Let's go ahead and test this out. So the card links, the anchor tags, and we can see that it is changing. The color is changing anyway, a lot slower compared to the default, right? So if I were to comment this out, and let's test this out, you can see how that's a real hard, quick, snappy color change, right? But once we put that ease in there, then it's a little softer. It gives it that nice warm feeling. And so again, these are some of the things that I would definitely maybe put in a notebook to help you with what you are learning and apply it to your own designs later on. All right, let's go ahead and check the code. And of course, we get the congratulations. Let's move on to our next step here. Step number 22, add a selector that targets the card's anchor tag, but when it is active. And so that means that when we click on the button, it wants it to be a certain color, because right now we get no response feedback from this. I'm clicking on it right now and I'm not getting any feedback from it. And so that's what we're going to do. And we've seen these pseudo classes before. Right here we have the hover pseudo class, and it wants us to target every single thing that this one is doing, the card links, the anchor tag. But instead of the hover, we're going to use that keyword of active. And I am just going to grab this here and I'm going to paste it in here, but I don't want the hover. I want the active. So let me go ahead and change this to active, and the color, I want that to be midnight blue. Okay, let's test this out here. I can come over here and now I'm clicking on the button, and now we get that visual feedback of us actually clicking on it. Okay, and it works the same for the other one also, all right? So let's go ahead and check our code. There we go. Let's go ahead and move on to the next one. Step number 23, it has us add a new selector that targets, again, the same card links and anchor tag, the buttons that we're talking about right here. And it wants us to specifically target the focus, okay? So again, I'm going to take the code that we just got done writing up here, and then I'm going to tweak it to match my needs. So the very first thing that I'm going to do, it doesn't want us to do the background color. It wants us to do the outline. So I'm going to do outline, and then I'm going to set that to the 2 pixels solid yellow, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and paste that there. I'm going to put the semicolon in there. Now, I don't want the active. I want the focus. And how are we going to test this out? If we click anywhere on our little preview here and hit the tab button, you'll see that we have this nice little yellow glow. And I can hit the tab button again, and it is glowing there as well. This is how you would be testing the focus aspect of your pseudo class. Usually you can probably see this in maybe input fields where we are focused on a certain one here, and I can go ahead and select any one of these, and it lets me know, hey, this is our main focus portion of this, okay? So anyways, let's go ahead and test that code out. And we got the congratulations. We're moving on to the next section. Step number 24, it says create a new selector that targets again, these buttons that we're going to be working with. And the color, they want that to be crimson. All right, let's take a look at W3 schools real quick to show you exactly what this does. If I were to go and visit a specific URL, and this example here, they're all blue, but they want the pseudo class visited, it's going to turn it to pink. So let me go ahead and visit this page here, and then I'm just going to click the run button and notice that because I've been there before, it is turning pink for me. So that's what we're doing. I don't know if freeCodeCamp will actually work this way where it will stay pink, but let's go ahead and give it a try here. So again, I'm not trying to recreate the wheel. I'm going to go ahead and copy what I have up above. And here for the focus, this one's going to be visited, I believe. Let's double check that. It is visited right here. Okay. And when we use that, we want the color. It says set the color property to crimson. So color, crimson. Okay. And again, I don't know if it's going to work. It looks like it is a limitation of freeCodeCamp, but let's go ahead and check our code. Congratulations. We're moving on to the next one here. Okay, step number 25. It says create the selector for the section element and give it the following properties. All right, let's go ahead and do that. So we're going to go ahead and do the section, have the curly brackets, and then I'm just going to go line by line. We're going to do margin 20 pixels auto. Next, we're going to go to max width of 600 pixels. Next is going to be the background color. They want white smoke. Next, it says padding. It wants 20 pixels all around. And then the border radius, they want 10 pixels. All right, I believe we have everything. And you can see how well it's shaped out down here below. All right, let's go ahead and check our code. Congratulations. Moving on to the next. So step number 26, it says another value that can be used for the transform is the skew x, and this function will skew the elements horizontally. So when we hover over the selectors here, or the sections, it wants us to have a transform property that will skew it 10 degrees. So let's go ahead and see what that looks like. Again, we're going to target the section, and this needs to be on the hover. Next in here, we can do the transform, and we can set that to skew, and then the X, and we want 10 degrees. Okay, let's go ahead and add a semicolon at the end and test this out. So you can see that as I'm hovering over any one of these, it is skewing everything that's in there by 10 degrees. Let's check our code. There we go. Good to go. Let's move on to our last one, I believe. Okay, we are finally on the last step here. And it says the last thing before we can complete this project, let's go ahead and add the display property, and we want to set that to none. And what this is going to do for us, it will basically blip all of the section out. So you'll see that here, display none, and you'll see that they're all going to go away. Okay. And they're not gone. They're still there. But anyways, it's just going to go to none. It's going to disappear here. The next thing that we need to do on here is we need to have a new pseudo class, and it says create a new selector, call it section target. So let's do that. And this will go ahead and say, hey, when we click on this link, because we put that hashtag in there, it knows that section is targeted, and it will show it. And that's how we turn it back to the display block. And that's what it is naturally when we go ahead and do that. When we normally have it in there, it is by default a display block. And so that's all that is doing here. Now, this is another CodeCamp ism, okay, where it's not going to be able to show you anything. So what I have done for you is I went to CodePen real quick and I applied every single thing that we did so we can take a look at it. And you can see here that it is showing up just fine when we're clicking on it. As a matter of fact, I think I can maybe reset this here by just adding a space, and notice that they're both hidden right now. But if I click on the send card, boom, it is showing up. I get that same hover effect and so on. Okay. So anyways, I just want to show you that it does in fact work before we go ahead and submit this and we can check our code. We got the confetti, and we have now completed this lesson. All right, so hopefully you finished all 3 of the videos and you got this going great. And I tell you, we had a little bit of fun with it, and we got a little bit exposed to all the various pseudo classes that are out there. There's a lot more, by the way, if you didn't know that. Take a look at that on the W3 schools as well. But please, if you enjoyed this video, like it because that really helps us out. And then subscribe because we're going to be doing a lot more of these videos. All right. Hey, thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next video.